What is metabolic flexibility and why does it matter for your health? Let's first define metabolism. Metabolism is the process your body uses to make and burn energy from food. Our body has the ability to use different sources of fuel: proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Let's get a little bit more granular about each one of these macronutrients to better understand its impact on metabolism. Let's start with what I lived off of for many years of my life: carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the body's main source of energy. As you know, carbs are broken down into glucose, sugar, which is either used immediately for energy or stored as glycogen in the muscles and liver for later use, or converted to fat and stored in fat cells. The process of converting glucose into energy is known as glycolysis. This pathway provides quick energy by breaking down glucose into pyruvate, producing ATP, adenosine triphosphate, the energy currency of cells. We have a wonderful hormone named insulin, which plays a crucial role in regulating blood glucose levels by facilitating the uptake of glucose into cells. High carbohydrate intake spikes insulin levels, promoting glucose utilization and storage. Many people equate insulin with something bad. It's known as the fat-storing hormone, but we would die without insulin. Next up, proteins. Proteins are primarily used for growth, repair, and maintenance of body tissues. However, they can be converted into glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis when carbohydrate sources are insufficient. Proteins are broken down into amino acids, which can be used to generate energy, synthesize new proteins, or undergo conversion into glucose or fatty acids, depending on the body's needs. Amino acids enter the energy production pathways at different points, either being converted to pyruvate, acetyl-CoA, or entering the Krebs cycle directly. This flexibility allows proteins to serve as a versatile energy source. Let's turn our attention to fats. Fats provide the most energy-dense form of fuel, offering over twice as much energy per gram as carbohydrates or proteins. Carbs and proteins provide 4 calories per gram, whereas fats provide 9 calories per gram. Fats are stored as triglycerides in adipose tissue and mobilized during periods of fasting or low carbohydrate intake. The process of converting fatty acids into energy is called beta-oxidation. This pathway occurs in the mitochondria, where fatty acids are broken down to produce acetyl-CoA, which then enters the Krebs cycle to generate ATP, NADH, and FADH2, crucial for energy production. Don't worry, friends, there is no test at the end. When carbohydrate intake is low and fat breakdown predominates, the liver converts fatty acids into ketone bodies, an alternative energy source for the brain and other tissues. This state, known as ketosis, is marked by a shift from glucose to fat as the primary energy source. What exactly is metabolic flexibility? The short answer is the body's ability to switch between burning fat and burning sugar for energy efficiently. So we have these two pathways, glycolysis and beta-oxidation, sugar burning and fat burning. How efficiently we can switch between burning sugar and burning fat is the issue in question. If you are unable to go more than a few hours without feeling hangry, you likely are not metabolically flexible. I know I sure wasn't. I had to eat every couple of hours or I would feel so lethargic, dizzy, and definitely hangry. I was in the sugar burner mode constantly. Now that I've ditched processed foods, for the most part, and prioritize protein and healthy fats and avoid refined starches and other nutrient-dense carbohydrates and sugars, I feel so much better. Metabolic flexibility is vital for maintaining energy balance and optimizing performance and health. How incredible are our bodies? I say this all the time. We are remarkable. We're built to survive and thrive. If we are not thriving, there is a reason. Usually, there is more than one reason. The ability to efficiently switch between burning sugar and burning fat is crucial for metabolic health. Metabolic inflexibility, or the impaired ability to switch between fuel sources, is associated with various metabolic disorders, including type 2 diabetes and obesity. It is vitally important that we are able to tap into both sources of energy. A review published in the Journal of Clinical Medicine in 2023 took a look at several studies to better understand metabolic flexibility and inflexibility. The researchers concluded that exercise could help keep muscles happy and prevent diseases. Well, yes, that is probably no surprise, but let's dive deeper. They determined that working out can make your body better at burning fat, using insulin, and increasing the number of energy-producing parts in cells. These improvements can help lower the risk of health problems like insulin resistance, diabetes, heart disease, and other long-term illnesses. For instance, studies found that women aged 20 to 60 who did both aerobic and strength exercises had lower risks for conditions related to metabolic syndrome, such as small waist size, low blood sugar, blood pressure, and better cholesterol levels. Another study looked at adults who were either inactive or did endurance training while eating a high-fat diet. It found that those who exercised burned more energy, which helped them have better blood sugar and cholesterol levels, and those benefits came more from exercising than just eating well. Exercise seemed to make their cells better at producing energy, making them more adaptable in how they use carbs and fats for energy. People with and without metabolic syndrome were compared for their fitness abilities, showing that those with metabolic syndrome were less fit regardless of their age or sex. Additionally, people with type 2 diabetes and heart disease had lower fitness levels, suggesting that exercise is key to improving how well the body can switch between different types of fuel for energy. As always, I have included links in the show notes if you want to dive deeper into the research. I cannot be the only one who nerds out here. Let's talk about some of the benefits of being in a fat-burning state. I've got a list, friends. You know I love a good list. Let's jump into the top 10 benefits of being in a fat-burning state. Number 1, energy production. Beta-oxidation is highly efficient to produce large amounts of ATP. Remember that ATP, adenosine triphosphate, is the energy currency of the cell, making it crucial for sustaining prolonged physical activities and fasted states. Number 2, weight management. By promoting the use of stored fat for energy, beta-oxidation can help in reducing body fat levels, supporting weight loss and maintenance efforts. Number 3, enhanced endurance. I love this one. I am all about improving my endurance. Burning fat supports endurance by providing a steady and long-lasting energy source, enabling longer periods of physical activity without the rapid depletion of energy reserves seen with glycogen. This is one of the reasons I usually work out in a fasted state. There are many opinions on this subject, and I certainly have mine. In a review published in the Journal of Nutrition, the researchers took a look at 125 studies to answer this question: what should I eat before exercise, or should I eat at all? The researchers concluded that when you exercise at a steady, moderate pace, burning fat is usually more effective if you haven't eaten overnight, compared to when you've had carbs before exercising. Although burning fat increases the longer you exercise, working out on an empty stomach boosts fat burning for the entire duration of the exercise more than if you eat the carbs beforehand. However, this difference becomes less noticeable as the exercise intensity goes up. Exercising with lower muscle glycogen levels, the storage form of glucose, also leads to higher fat oxidation compared to when glycogen levels are normal. This effect is consistent across different exercise intensities, but decreases over long exercise periods. The timing of eating before exercise doesn't really change how much fat versus carbs you burn, but eating more carbs before you work out can make the difference in the burning more noticeable between exercising in a fasted state versus after eating. It's important to note that these observations mostly applied to men who were moderately trained. and that was about 87% of the participants in these studies. It's also important to underscore that how men and women metabolize energy during exercise can differ, with these differences potentially being influenced by the female menstrual cycle. Number 4, improved metabolic health. Beta-oxidation can improve insulin sensitivity and reduce blood glucose levels, lowering the risk of developing metabolic disorders such as type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. Number 5, supports ketosis. It facilitates the production of ketone bodies when carbohydrates are scarce, providing an alternative energy source for the brain and muscles and supporting metabolic flexibility. Number 6, reduction in blood triglycerides. By mobilizing and utilizing fatty acids for energy, beta-oxidation can help lower triglyceride levels in the blood, reducing the risk of cardiovascular disease. Number 7, increased mitochondrial function and health. Regular activation of beta-oxidation stimulates the biogenesis of mitochondria, enhancing cellular energy production, capacity, and overall health. Number 8, supports healthy aging. By improving metabolic function and reducing the risk of chronic diseases, beta-oxidation can contribute to healthier aging and longevity. Number 9, enhances physical performance. Athletes and physically active individuals may experience improved performance and recovery due to the efficient use of fat as a fuel source during prolonged exercise. Number 10, regulates appetite. Beta-oxidation and the consequent ketone body production can help regulate hunger and satiety signals, potentially leading to reduced caloric intake and aiding in weight management. Now that we know that metabolic flexibility is important, is there a way we can improve our metabolic flexibility? Glad you asked. I've got one more list for you today to close out this week's episode. Number 1, nutrition. One of the foundational strategies for enhancing metabolic flexibility involves modifying dietary habits. You knew we were going here. If you know me, then you know. A diet that balances macronutrient intake, includes healthy fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, can encourage the body to adapt, utilizing different fuel sources more effectively. Number 2, intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, or time-restricted eating, is another powerful tool as it promotes fat oxidation and improves insulin sensitivity, enhancing our ability to switch between burning sugar and burning fat. This is a very nuanced topic, and we already did a whole show diving deep into this concept with one of the leading experts on intermittent fasting, Cynthia Thurlow. I will link it up here and also in the show notes if you want to check that out. Number 3, aerobic exercise. Exercise plays a pivotal role in enhancing metabolic flexibility. Both aerobic and resistance training have been shown to improve the body's capacity to oxidize fats and carbohydrates. Aerobic exercise increases the efficiency of fat burning, especially during periods of low to moderate intensity. I am a fan of understanding your body's needs and going in that direction. I mentioned I work out in a fasted state most of the time. I do not always exercise fasted. When I run, I drink a protein smoothie while driving to the park. I have run in a fasted and a fed state and perform better fed. I usually recommend trying both ways and seeing how you feel. Number 4, resistance training. Perform resistance exercises to improve muscle glucose uptake and increase muscle mass, which can enhance carbohydrate metabolism. A great thing to do after eating to enhance the utilization of glucose so it will not end up stored as fat is to move your body. Sometimes I do a 5-minute squat routine or dips on the kitchen counter. When I saw patients in an office, I am 100% telehealth medicine now. I used to demonstrate a quick workout routine that could easily be done in your own home or even at work. Even a few minutes a day can make a dramatic difference with your health. Number 5, stress management. Stress and its impact on metabolic flexibility is a complex interplay that affects how the body uses energy, particularly in how it switches between burning fat and carbohydrates. Chronic stress can significantly impair metabolic flexibility, leading to various health issues, including weight gain, insulin resistance, and an increased risk of chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. Understanding the mechanisms behind this relationship can help in determining strategies to mitigate these efforts and improve overall metabolic health. I've got to mention our friend cortisol. While cortisol is crucial for energy regulation and the stress response, chronic elevation due to prolonged stress can disrupt metabolic processes. High cortisol levels can lead to increased glucose production in the liver, higher blood sugar levels, and reduced insulin sensitivity. This makes it harder for your body to switch between using carbohydrates and fats for energy, reducing metabolic flexibility. Stress can also affect dietary choices and eating behaviors, leading to an increased intake of high carbohydrate and high fat foods, commonly known as comfort foods. These dietary patterns can further exacerbate metabolic inflexibility by providing a constant supply of glucose, which the body prioritizes for energy over fat. This not only diminishes the body's ability to burn fat, but can also lead to weight gain and a higher risk of metabolic syndrome. Chronic stress may reduce motivation and energy levels, making it harder to engage in physical activity. Since regular exercise is crucial for maintaining metabolic flexibility, a decrease in physical activity can further impair the body's ability to efficiently switch between energy sources. Additionally, stress can lead to muscle tension and pain, further discouraging physical activity and compounding its negative effects on metabolic health. Stress is a common cause of sleep disturbances, including difficulty falling asleep and staying asleep. Poor sleep quality and quantity can significantly impact metabolic health, reducing insulin sensitivity and altering hunger hormones, which can lead to increased appetite and weight gain. This disruption in sleep patterns can impair the body's natural rhythms, further reducing metabolic flexibility. We need to prioritize stress management strategies. Practices such as meditation, deep breathing exercises, and yoga can reduce stress levels and cortisol production, helping to restore metabolic balance. Engaging in both aerobic and resistance training can improve metabolic flexibility while also reducing stress levels. Prioritizing sleep hygiene practices to ensure adequate and restful sleep can help regulate the hormones that control stress and metabolism. Eating a diet rich in whole foods with a balance of macronutrients can support metabolic health and reduce the impact of stress on the body. We can't forget how important joy is in our lives. Social support, friends, family. Social support can help manage stress levels and reduce its impact on metabolic health. Number 6, sleep routine. Ensure 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night to support hormone regulation and metabolic health. Sleep is highly underrated, and poor sleep will negatively impact your life. If you want a deeper dive, episode 9, I'll link it up in the show notes as well. Number 7, hydration. Adequate water intake is essential for optimal metabolic function. This is so often overlooked. We need to remember that our cells, our body processes, need water. Number 8, track your progress. This may sound odd. How can you track your metabolic flexibility? I'm a fan of using tools like a continuous blood glucose monitor to understand how different foods and activities affect your metabolic flexibility. This was a game changer for me. We are all unique and different, and foods can impact us differently. I learned that rice, didn't matter if it was white or brown, caused a massive blood sugar spike. This correlated with my afternoon fatigue and brain fog. I'm a fan of getting my carbs from fruits and vegetables rather than grains for the most part. I do eat grains, just not on a regular basis. We want to remain metabolically flexible. If we lower carbs significantly on a regular basis, or we fast all the time for a prolonged length of time, we may actually reduce our metabolic flexibility. Let me know if you want a follow-up episode on this topic, and we can dive deeper into the science of carb cycling. I am a fan. If you enjoyed this video, you're going to want to check out this next one I've put up on the screen over here, and I will see you over there. Bye, friends.